Afternoon, everyone. It is 2 o'clock. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here at our second session for Older Americans Month. I am so pleased to have with me today Johnnie Jones and Debbie Sahay. They are two really top-notch folks that actually work here at Elder Options. Johnnie Jones is the coordinator of caregiver training and support for Elder Options. He has over 30 years experience and 20 years as a psychoeducator. He has a tremendous amount of experience with evidence-based health curricula and is a certified dementia practitioner, Alzheimer's disease and dementia care trainer. And he specializes in programs that we offer here, like Savvy Caregiver training and coping with caregiving. He also serves as the chair of the Greater Gainesville Dementia Care and Cure Initiative Task Force. And today he's going to be sharing different ways that we can help caregivers and help with our brain health. We also have Debbie Sahay with us, who will be going next. And she is new to the world of nonprofit. She is a community-oriented business leader who is leading the charge to bring our new anchor program here to North Central Florida. It is an opportunity to bridge the gap for families who need a really tailored personal approach for navigating everything that comes with aging. Anchor is a private pay hourly service model for geriatric care management. And Debbie is really passionate about helping others stay safe, remain independent, and thriving in their homes with flexible goals and approaches. So I am going to turn this meeting over to Johnnie, who will speak first. Thanks, Johnnie.
Thank you, Lisa, and good afternoon, everyone. I am excited and ecstatic to be able to be a part of Older Americans Month activities, including sharing with you some really great and useful information regarding taking care of yourself as a caregiver. And we realize that everyone might not be in the role of a caregiver currently, but what I have found is that when we share what those basic skills are and some really great coping strategies, we're able to share those and expand on that in our own network. So we all know someone who is in the throes of caregiving or is maybe just fresh from having been a caregiver. And so everything that we will share here today, if it is not useful and can't be applied directly to your lives, certainly there is someone within your network, within your orbit, that could also benefit from what we will talk about. And so I think the first place that we should launch, Lisa, is to talk about the overwhelming work that caregiving can be. And unfortunately, there's some horrible statistics that around caregivers predeceasing the person that they're caring for. It really stems from a person who is loving and giving and pouring so much that they don't get poured back into. And that's the very last thing we want. We want you to always remember that the greatest act of love that you can demonstrate as a caregiver is to keep yourself healthy and available for the person who has no one else to depend on. Because many times we are the sole caregiver, or we are the primary caregiver. And so because of that, we need to make sure that we stay at the very top of our form. And how do we do that? We do that by seeing to our needs and treating our needs as a priority alongside those people that we are caring for. And so we oftentimes think, well, it's selfish for me to pause and take care of me. It's absolutely not selfish. It's essential that you pause and take care of yourself as a caregiver. And so that's why, we here at Elder Options spend so much time training and supporting caregivers and making sure that their stress is reduced and connecting them to as many resources as possible, because we want our caregivers to be able to lighten their burden some. And how do we do that? It's by making sure that you spread that weight around, You're not trying to be a hero, superhero. You are the one who is saying, the smartest way to do this is to find resources, to connect to people, and to extend and expand my network. That's what I do all day, every day. It's what we're passionate about as a team, and the people that I work with, including some of the people who are on today, and even Debbie, who you'll hear from later. It's what we're on fire about. We want to make sure that you're not walking through the caregiving journey and thinking that there is not somewhere to turn, or that you are not carrying the heavy burden of caregiving and refusing to let some of that go. So here we are, waving and saying, hey, over here, we can help you. We want to help you. And here's how we can start that process. So one of the things that I talk about that will help you as a caregiver is brain health. Because for the most part, if you are already giving care to someone, then you're dealing with a kind of a situation where there's not a whole lot right now that I can do except treat and support and be there for that person. But what can I do for me? And what can I do as a person who is of a similar age to the person that I'm giving care for, or I share genetic material. I am, biologically related, and so I want to make sure that I'm not predisposed to any of those conditions that I'm now caring for a person with. So how do we do that? I like to talk about things that we can do to take care of ourselves. So really simple list. We're not. I won't go down every part of it because it would be redundant, especially if you follow us or have attended one of our classes. But I want to talk about things that are really simple and basic. Protecting your head. So I don't teach classes about fall prevention, but guess what? We need to prevent falls because one of the quickest and easiest ways to cause cognitive impairment is to suffer a head injury. And so something as simple as remembering that if you were assigned or if your doctor has suggested that you use something to assist you with walking, a rollator, a walker, a cane, then by all means use that. Because something as simple as a fall can create or lead to a more complex dementia diagnosis. So protect your head. If you bike, if you walk, if you run, do whatever you can to make sure that you're able to do that safely. I also want to emphasize something that, again, we overlook and don't give a lot of credit to, and that is sleep. Feel free to take naps. Sleep, get your rest. If you have the luxury to take a nap, take a nap. If you're a person who doesn't feel like you require a lot of sleep, don't forget how important it is to get that sleep. Sleeping is literally the point and the time when your brain shuts down enough to sweep itself clean and to reset and to start again. And so we think that that's not a literal process, but there is a literal process that the brain is cleansing and resetting itself when we rest properly. If you're not resting, then you're not cleaning that up, and what's happening is over time you're causing damage that will lead to cognitive dysfunction. And so we want to make sure that you rest well. What does that mean? It means a cold, dark, and quiet. If you haven't heard it before, you heard it from me. Make sure that your rest is cold, dark, and quiet. All of those things allow you to go into the type of sleep that really is regenerative, and that's what we would encourage. So that's my second point. My third point is watch the vices. So if you smoke, if you drink, of course, those things, because we know your primary care physician is already telling you this, if they're not good for your heart, they're probably not good for your brain. And so being using extreme care around what you do as it relates to alcohol use, tobacco use, those things will affect your brain and your brain function. But here is my number one thing. I happened to be listening to a story on public radio the other day that said, if we could give one prescription that could address longevity and health and all health outcomes, everyone would line up because we would want that one prescription. And then the speaker followed up by saying, and that one prescription is movement. And so I want to emphasize the importance of movement. And so here's what that looks like. I can't, I don't run, I can't walk, I can't stretch, I can't afford to, to go to the gym, I don't have time. It looks like this. If you are a person who loves TV, assign that at every commercial break, unless you're streaming, that you will stand, right? So stand and move at every commercial break. And so when you start adding up all of these great things that will happen because you are moving, that cumulatively over time is going to amount to a healthier you. I am big into not just movement but also mobility. So do things that will force you to move more and to be more mobile. Something as simple as practicing standing on one foot safely, of course. So with a counter or a chair nearby, that's going to help build your core strength. Stretch as often as you can. Do calf raises if you're seated. Any of those things are going to help you. But if you're actually able to physically move, to do aerobic exercise, something like Tai Chi or yoga, or if you walk, for sure, if you walk, it's that those will all be extremely helpful for you. Scientific proof is that when we are outside, when we hear birds, and when we hear the sounds of nature, those things are also really good for our brain. So get moving. It's not about 10,000 steps per day, it's however many you can squeeze in. Personally, here's what I do. I do not look for the closest parking space to the grocery store. I try to park at the back of the parking lot so that I can force myself to walk a little further. And those things are just small tips that you can apply to your everyday life. So movement is extremely important. Challenge your mind. I know you've probably heard that before, but as all of us age, we've got to begin to do things that challenge us a little more. There are certain things that we're going to be able to do even with some dementia, or even if we happen to be a person who's dealing with one of those diagnoses, there are going to be things that we're naturally dealing with. So what would I encourage you to do around that? Uh, this simple tip, you've heard me say it before if you've heard any of my talks: train yourself to write with your non-dominant hand. You are rewiring your brain, you are building new pathways. That is called neuroplasticity. And we do that by learning other languages, learning musical instruments, learning dance that has routinized movements. So if there is something that you have to memorize, now you're working not just your physical body, but you're also working your brain. So it's not too late to take that contra dance class or to learn, go to line dancing or anything that you can find. Doesn't matter whether you like the music, doesn't matter. Get into a class, because not only that, it will bring me to my next point, which is social activity and not being isolated. Isolation is deadly. All right. If again we could prescribe something that would really lengthen your days, it's meeting people, interacting with people, finding a circle, finding people that you look forward to gathering with, whatever that has to be. And if it has to be manufactured, if it's not particularly organic, that's okay. Whatever that looks like, find a group, go to the same place at the same time, find a connection, a point of connection, meet other people, and grow with that. So very important. Don't forget diet. Diet is going to be huge. You can really make some major changes in your life with a better diet. All of these things that I'm throwing in, and I'll toss in a couple of extras here for you. Again, making sure you're seeing a healthcare professional. That's highly important. I strongly encourage other things, that will help build those neural pathways. I'm not a big fan of digital devices to do that. So if you do Sudoku or any word finds, do it on paper and pencil. And the actual exercise of writing is again going to reinforce those synaptic connections. So it's not just about you quickly punching a few buttons. It's now about engaging a different part of your brain. For instance, it's already, again, for those of you who've used study techniques, when you write something by hand and then read it, you're much more likely to retain it. So it is now, even it goes a step deeper. For those of you who learned cursive, if you write it in cursive, now the retention for that even spikes up further. And it also engages more of the brain than any of the other types of writing that we would do by hand or using a keyboard. So again, the things that we can do are right there. So now adding a time of journaling or planning your next activity. So I have to move on, but I want to make sure that you understand stress reduction is huge. Breathing, deep breaths, and having a breathing routine. All of those things are important. Again, nature walks. If you're a person of faith, praying in your faith tradition, meditating if you're not a person of faith, just so that you can center and calm yourself. Any of those things are going to be extremely beneficial to you. So, we don't all have to lose our memory when we age. We don't all have to lose mobility when we age. And part of the celebration of Older Americans Month is, listen, we want to age and want to age well. And of course, there are going to be things that we have that we can't control. Certain things, again, genetically that we can't control. If we're injured, we can't control those. But the variables that we do have control over, and taking control of those variables will give you so much more peace around that. So now you're an active, refreshed caregiver who's taking care of yourself. So what does that mean? Just by the rules of the parallel process, if you're better, the person that you care for is going to be better. If you're doing it from a place of satisfaction and peace and even fulfillment, then obviously the person that you care for is going to feel and understand that. If they do not know your name, they know how you make them feel. If they do not remember what you did yesterday, they remember they are experiencing what you're doing right now. And so being present and being fully engaged and healthy, that's a service that you can offer to the person that you're giving care to. So I want to emphasize, take care of you. Fill your jar. Often from caregivers, as I close, I hear this, and it's something like, what did you do for self-care, Sally? Well, I took my husband out for ice cream, and the husband's the person they're giving care to. So actually, you didn't do anything for yourself. You just included someone else in your time of self-care. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is actually selfless. It is you knowing that you've got to be at your best in order to serve the person that you're caring for. And so take care of you so that you can be at your best, lower your stress, be the best you can be in all of these ways by sleeping well and eating well, and that includes sometimes pampering yourself a little. All of those things are going to be beneficial. Elder Options is here to support you through our caregiver training and support program. We have evidence-based classes. It is, again, scientifically proven that just the idea that someone is there to help lowers stress. Just the simple idea. I have Johnnie that I can call. Your stress will be better tomorrow because of that. And so this is where we come in. Do not leave these resources on the table. We're here for you, and we are glad to help you navigate whatever your custom plan is. And the beauty of all of this is I'm on with my colleague Debbie today as well, who will show you that where we sort of come to the end of what we can do, uh, she is right there to pick up, and she's right there to show you how you can fill those other places and needs. If you happen to be on the call and you do want to know more about our caregiver training and support services, that has been placed in the chat for you. You can always reach out. We have evidence-based classes, support groups. We're always happy to train small groups. We have care navigation from individuals all the way up to groups. So whatever it is that you think you need to be a better caregiver, we're here to help you offer that. I finally want to mention the guide program. And the guide program is a Medicare benefit that is free to people who have traditional Medicare, the what we often refer to as the Part A and Part B. If you have traditional Medicare and are a caregiver of someone who has a documented diagnosis of dementia, then there is a service that is provided. You get almost 20, a little bit more than $2,500 per year in respite that you don't have to pay for. In addition to that, you have care navigation, you have access to 24/7 resources through a helpline. All of those things are available to you. And if you would like to know more about that, you can email guide@agingresources.org or go to the chat and see that or request the brochure. But we would love to be able to help you because we all need help and we all need resources. And so with that, I will close. And Lisa, we can feel free to put questions wherever you want. I believe I can hang out until 3 or at least until about 5 minutes till that. But it's there's so much more I could say. I could talk for a lot longer, but I don't want to bore you. I think the most important takeaway for you is I don't need to know everything. I just need to know who I can connect to, who can help me get to what I need. And that's us. Elder Options, Caregiver Training and Support, and Elder Options in general. You need to know us.
Yes, that's we joke around and we've talked about it as a state, calling the area agencies on aging, know us before you need us, because we meet so many people in crisis, and we are here, and ready to help. I do want to open it up to questions to anybody here. I want to start actually with one of my questions, Johnny. One of the first things you said was "Don't be a hero." I know there's a lot of language around caregivers being superheroes and heroes, and yes, I want to give caregivers all of the accolades, but at the end of the day, we are all human, and facing these sort of, monumental tasks, and how, coming to terms with that, and how does somebody make that first step towards asking for help? Do you recommend calling a friend? Do you recommend calling the helpline? Where should be, your first place to go when you have that moment of stress, when you're, thinking, all right, I'm human. I gotta phone a friend or
Absolutely.
someone.
Yes. So I think the first thing we have to do is destigmatize. It's not the end of the world, and it is not something that other people have not been through. That's the first thing is we destigmatize. Second thing is we come out of isolation because here's what happens. The minute you get into community, you find that what you did not want to speak of, 10 other people in community have dealt with the exact same thing. And so community will help you destigmatize because trust me, somebody else has dealt with that exact same. My person doesn't want to bathe, or my person is inappropriate. My person says things that they shouldn't say, or any of those things. Those things, finding community, destigmatizing is number one. But don't make promises to yourself or to the person that you're giving care for that you will not absolutely be able to keep. So we often hear things like, I promise that I will never place you in a facility. Don't make those promises. Those are not things that you should do. So the first step again is to know that your situation, although it is individual and personal, and nobody has lived your experience, there is someone who has seen similar. And just to know that will to bring you into that company and to get you out of isolation will relieve you so much and will take so much stress off you when you're able to laugh at somebody because your spouse wants to wear the same clothes every day and they tell you mine too. And when you hear the words mine too, and everybody cracks up in laughter because even though it's been very frustrating, you figure frustrating, but not as abnormal as I thought, and you're not abnormal. So that's what I would say. It's community, coming out of isolation, destigmatizing, and those are going to be the first steps, I feel.
Thank you. And I want to open this up. Anyone in the chat is welcome to either type it in. I will happily ask Johnny, or speak up now, unmute yourself and ask before we move on to Debbie. I want to give everyone just a few minutes or so to gather your thoughts, and if you have any questions.
Yes, good afternoon. I do have a question. Um, we were trying to keep my husband from retiring. I was trying to keep him at work as long as possible for him to be able to exercise his brain and continue to have something to work for. Um, we finally made the decision that it was best for him to retire this year. He's a school teacher.
Mhm.
So I am trying to look for things that I can sort of replace with that. And so I'm looking at things that, like, we used to do speech and debate. We're coaches for speech and debate. So I feel,
Yes.
okay, so if we can become ambassadors, it's not so much, but a little less, but you still have that need to be able to perform. What is your advice on this? Because I'm really going crazy over this. I don't know what to do.
No, that's a great question. Uh, what we refer to anything that allows the person that you're living with to um, to still be involved. We refer to that as contented involvement, which means it's not enough to stress me out, but I'm certainly happy and I feel useful and I feel purpose because we all have a desire to have a purpose, right?
Right.
And it is you're right on the right track in finding something similar. So what does that look like? Where can I still teach and speak or share or mentor? And so that usually leads back to some type of volunteerism. It usually leads back to, and it could be something as simple as facilitating a support group. So there may be, I've done tons of activities which have been hugely beneficial around using improv as ways to keep people involved. There are so many things. And so I will say we cover that one of the sections of our Savvy Caregiver course is looking for a kind of a plan for contented involvement. What kinds of things can your person be involved in? Love to cook, but maybe may not be able to use the stove still. What can we get them doing? May have been a seamstress or a tailor. What can we now give them to do that still keeps them involved and makes them feel purposeful? So it does require some thought. It's probably good that you made the decision to retire, but you want to as well, you do want that person to still feel purpose and to still feel their identity. And so, as you're doing that, I would say any way, whether that is even serving as an advisor for that, a volunteer advisor for that speech and debate team, or something that kind of I could do it if I want to do it, but I don't have to do it. But yet there is still purpose around it. So um, your thinking is right. We could probably help you work through a whole list of other ideas, but I typically rush to volunteerism there because if you don't hit the clock, nobody's upset, you know, but it still gives you purpose. And there are plenty of places and lots of use for life, for him, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Absolutely.
I love it. And I'm about to put in the chat. I know I've mentioned several times that Johnnie and his team lead a number of workshops and classes, and Johnnie listed it too. We've got all of those online on our website event page. So we update it pretty regularly, keeping it updated, and we post on social media and have a newsletter and try to let everybody know that if it's not starting right now, there probably will be one near you starting soon. We do cover 16 counties, so yeah, but and it is a pitch for us. We're always looking for volunteers.
Okay.
But come check us out first.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions for Johnnie before we move on to Debbie? All right. Well, I am happy to turn this over to Debbie Sahay, who is in charge of our brand new anchor program we just launched this year, and is into geriatric care case management. And she's going to explain a little bit about that and how we can link from the startings from a Savvy class into someone who may need a little bit more than a workshop or class. So please take it away, Debbie.
Thank you. If you got my presentation, I will go from there. But whilst we're waiting for Lisa to load that up, hi, I'm Debbie. I've worked for the Elder Options team. I had my 1 year anniversary just a few short weeks ago, and I was delighted to become part of the team to birth Anchor. Anchor has been live now since January, and it's been an amazing journey. There we go. I can see it now. That's good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Anchor, about Anchor's journey and where it is today, and what kind of service Anchor is. And then we're going to talk about one of my most important services that we provide, which is geriatric case management. So Anchor is a paid for service, and we provide advocacy, support, geriatric care management, for people who need help and support or aren't able to get that help and support from any funded grant services that are out there, and need a service or a provider they can trust to be able to help them with challenges that they may face to live an independent life. So Anchor, when we launched in January, we launched with several different services that we can provide. And one of the things we could see that was needed the most in the community was somebody to walk hand in hand with solo seniors, or maybe children that lived out of state, to be able to look after their loved ones in our 16 counties. So Lisa, if you could go to the next slide, please, that would be wonderful. I think there's a little delay from you sliding and it coming up.
Yes, but now I've lost the whole thing. So sorry about that, everyone.
Technology. That's one thing we help as well with Anchor.
I started on the last page. That explains everything. There we go.
Okie dokie. There we go. Okay, so geriatric care managers, we assist older adults and their families to be able to coordinate care and manage those complexities of aging. So I'll give you a scenario. So we have mom that lives in Florida on her own, and children that live out of state. We can advocate for the children within our 16 counties, and we can be there when their loved ones can't be, to be able to help them with any administrative requirements, any care coordination, whether it's problem solving or crisis management, or just simply to do welfare checks and check in on their loved one. So Anchor has been a real support, especially for solo seniors in Florida and families that live far away. We also help support caregivers, especially those who, are very aware that that their spouse or their family members need them, and if anything was to happen to them, where would they go next? Who would be there to step in? Who would be the confidant that they can give a call to, and we can get down there and support them and their families through difficult times. Next slide, please, Lisa. Yay, there we go. Okay. So when we are supporting clients with a geriatric care plan, we will look at things like what is their current health conditions, what medication do they need, what does the short term, the short term, the long term health conditions look like, and with our plan, it's not just a one and done. So it's an actual live document that we'll review, and we work with our clients and families to adjust that plan as and when we need to. We also look heavily on social relationship systems, isolation risks, look at the ways and means that we can improve social activity, and we can make sure that the aging adult has a healthy social activity group and things, and we introduce things to keep their life meaningful and accessible. Emotional mental health and anxiety, and that's not just for the client. So, the client's family, especially when living so far away from their loved ones, or going through, or living here and going through a crisis or health issues, we support with emotional support for the client and their families. Financial, we have lots of people that we work with around financial well-being. We look at financial well-being companies, and we have a resource of people that we can refer to. And we can also look at if a client is concerned around having a fraud situation, or we can help navigate some of the online facilities and support with review of those situations. And then with the living situations, we review the home, we can arrange home assessments, make recommendations, and then we can be there to coordinate all that happening, making sure that, you have the right people doing those kind of things in your home. And we can make sure that the work has been done sufficiently and accurately. Okay. So personalized care planning. So each care plan is personalized to the individual. And like I said before, it's not a one and done. These care plans can change week by week, or they can be the same every month and then only have a few changes throughout the year. But it's good to know that if you do need a change in your care plan, Anchor will step in and do that for you. So my team will make sure that we do all the running for you. We do all the telephone calling. We get all the lists of possible solutions and providers, and we do the legwork so you don't have to. And then part of your care plan will have a reduced amount of providers with the cost and their availability and what the conditions are for that provider. So rather than you spending hours on the phone having to speak to these people, we'll do that for you. So what you have is that nice condensed list of options. And we also arrange a multitude of services for you. We can speak to your home care services, make sure that they're doing everything they should be doing. For children out of state, mum's here or dad's here, we will come and we will meet with the home care services, make sure that all of those care needs are being met, and everything that needs to happen for that client is happening. Housing transitions, we have people that may not be suitable for them to be in their current housing situation. We can help arrange all of the transition administration and for that process to make life a little easier. Caregiver assistance, legal and financial services, and medical equipment and home safety, as I've discussed before. Thank you. So one of the most important things with Anchor is we consider our clients our family. So when somebody joins Anchor, they're part of our family, and we treat our clients that way. So every single day we are doing wellness checks. If we're unsure after a wellness check, if one of our clients is happy or in a good position, we'll go and visit them. We keep in contact with close family and keep them up to date. And one of my clients said to me the other day, they said, "Debbie, we know that you call us every day. And that gives us such a sense of security to know that if you can't get through to me, that you'll be raising the alarm bells and you'll be around to make sure we're okay. And I suppose that is what Anchor is. We're that sense of security. We are part of their family. We're part of the team. And, if one of my clients has a concern or an issue, they know they can pick up the phone and contact Anchor, and we're available 24/7. So that's a real sense of security for people. With the services that Anchor can provide, we can do extensive housing transitions, but we can also drive to Ocala and go and pick up a fan remote if that's what's really driving you crazy right now and would resolve so many stress in your life. Or we can go and coordinate some shopping for you, or we can go and coordinate a mobile hairdresser to come to your home. So there's literally no ends to what we can help and coordinate for yourselves and for your families. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so obviously the value within Anchor, I have the strength of Elder Options behind me. So I'm a program of Elder Options. I am a private pay service because the great thing about Anchor is I am not restricted by federal and state funds. So that's why Anchor's services are so flexible and we're able to provide a lot more. However, there is a charge to that. So our charging structure is extremely comparative and very competitive to anybody that would provide this similar kind of service, because any money that we receive within Anchor is then reinvested into Elder Options and becomes that funding to strengthen these great programs that we already have. So we currently have two structures of payment. So some of my clients, they just want a one and done situation. They may want me to organize something. So they may just pay for 3 or 4 hours worth of our services, and they may not need me again for 6 months. So in that situation, we have a flexible hourly service rate from $69 per hour. And then for my more intense clients that need support on a weekly basis, we have flexible membership pricing. So you can join 3 level tiers of membership within Anchor. And the benefit of those membership prices is we have a reduced hourly rate for those customers who are part of the membership. Okay. And that is it for me regarding Anchor. And thank you for sitting here and listening to me talk about our new program. So I'm ready for any questions. Oh, I can't hear you, Lisa.
I'm going to start with a question.
Okay.
I want to know what does a client look like to you? You mentioned somebody whose parents live in Gainesville and their children live far away. Do you have an average looking client, or how do people come to you typically?
That's a really good question. And absolutely not. I do not have an average looking client. So I have clients who are here and their children are out of state and they don't have any other immediate family within Florida. So we are the substitute children in the form of Anchor. I also have clients who are fit, healthy, and very independent. But in the moments where they're concerned, when they may fall poorly or they're a little bit sick, that they need support. They need somebody to advocate for them, because when people are going through those situations, they can't always advocate for themselves as they normally can because they're in pain or they're going through some health conditions. I also have the similar clients who are having peace in the knowledge that I'm helping them plan their life, so just doing things around planning and making sure that the future is secure and making sure they're planning for if their health deteriorates, and I have those types of clients as well. So yeah, I don't have any client that's typical. It's very much people who want to plan for their future, want to have an advocate, and actually just want to have somebody that they can pick up the phone to if need be and prevent a crisis from happening.
So people that come and plan, I have a family friend that doesn't live near us, but I know that they want to age in place. That is their goal. They don't want to move anywhere, and they I know are looking for someone to kind of go through the house and spot things. Is that something that Anchor would help someone do? Stay at home. I mean, our mission here at Elder Options is really for people to stay independent for and in their homes for as long as possible. How could Anchor help somebody do that?
Absolutely, Lisa. And we do have those types of clients. So we've done home assessments so that people can age and stay in place. We've arranged home care so that they are safe at home and they have the care they need. And when that situation changes, when people arrange home care, it doesn't always stay in the quality of what you first hired it as. So, Anchor is there reviewing that service level, reviewing that with the home care provider, coming up with solutions, if it doesn't work out, because it doesn't always work out. And we work with that individual, and our aim is to get them to stay in place and stay at home. And with Anchor supporting them, that makes it a lot easier thing to do, more easy to arrange those care providers that they need to. And as well as that, when they have a crisis or an out of hours issue, they know that they can pick up the phone and give us a call. I was speaking to a client the other day, and she said one of the great things about Anchor is that she struggles to get direct contact numbers for any of her providers, all the providers that help her, but she knows she has my personal contact number that she can call at any time, and one of the team as well. So she knows that if she needs that support and care, that she can pick up the phone and not go through to a call center and speak to one of the Anchor team. And that gives her a great sense of security.
Thank you, Debbie. And I want to make sure that everyone knows they are more than welcome to type in a question or come online and ask a question. I want to allow some space to do that too, not just talk the whole time.
You can even ask me where my funny accent comes from if you're wondering. See, I could see Rita was wondering exactly that.
Oh, you're going to say that and just be quiet?
Yeah, I'll be a mystery. It'll be a mystery. I guess in everybody can figure out that I'm not from Gainesville originally. I'm actually from the UK. Okay.
I have to say, one of the cool things about watching you launch everything is working in communications. You get to work with all the different divisions of Elder Options, which is really nice. But is also watching how Anchor works within all the divisions too, and is able to sort of glean that knowledge and learn about the appeal process with insurance and
Yeah.
learn about which is I think pretty cool and an advantage.
It's very cool. And that's probably one thing that I didn't touch upon. One of my clients had a really difficult situation regarding a request for rehab. And the Anchor team ran straight round to the Shine team and got hold of the Shine team, and we came up with the appeal process, and we helped the client go through that appeal process. And the end result, the client got to go to the rehab center they wanted to, and the family were like, we didn't even know we could do that. We were ready to change our plan, but it was a great thing to be able to help them with that.
Thank you. And does anyone have any additional questions? Well, I have added contact information for Johnnie in our chat. He's available at caregiver support at agingresources.org. I've added Debbie's information. She is anchor at agingresources.org. I want to thank you all for joining us today and taking time out of your day to learn more about the services Elder Options provides and to celebrate Older Americans Month, which we will be celebrating all month long here. This is our second session. Our third session is next Tuesday, and we'll be focusing on balance and vitamins. So we've got a gut biome expert from UF joining us next week. We're really excited about that. And I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat as well. If you want to join us, same bat time, same bat station. We'll be here at 2:00 next Tuesday. And then finally, we're having a big party. I've got to pick out the appropriate outfit. We are having an Older Americans Month tea party on May 26th. So come join us. I think I'm going to wear a fascinator. If there is an opportunity to be a little bit silly, I am very happy to take that opportunity. So we will be at Elder Care for that, but please RSVP by next week. And we hope to see you. I just want to open it one more time before I close the meeting. Make sure we're not missing any questions. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And good luck on all of your journeys, your caregiver journeys, your brain health, and being human and looking for assistance when we need it. Thank you.